This is a simple manifold of which we have blue for cold water, red for hot water. Okay. This is where we are going to assemble all the water points for this house, whereby you can control the water in a certain room using this point, this point, this point, and this point, but obvious different rooms.
How do you know this one is the perfect one for this particular project?
Okay, kwa kuchagua design, kuna designs mingi sana yenye inaweza wekwa, lakini hatuweki tu tunaweka, but tunaketi chini na our designer, tuna decide design gani na match nyumba, ama ni match project kutoka kwa mlango hadi kwa dirisha, ili ikuwe uniform.
Hello guys, and welcome to Ridgeways. Now in a previous video I had said that 2021 was going to be the year of big things, but I have to say it has completely blown me out of the water. We've gone to work on so many marvelous projects, and you can see I am standing at the back of another very massive project that we're currently working on. Now I want to take you through and just talk to you about what we've done so far, what adjustments we're thinking of making, and just how we approach this particular project, because I think you can tell that there's been quite a bit of work done. So I think the next step is just going in so I can walk you through this journey. So let's head in and take a look. So guys, this is the entryway to this house. It feels very grand from the exterior, and the entrance has to match. So we're just working on smoothing it out, and then we're going to have a feature up there. It's going to be like a glass feature. It's going to be like a window, which will make it feel even more modern when you're looking at it, because right now it has kind of like an old world feel, but all the features that we're adding are really modernizing. Now as you enter, right at the entrance, you are greeted by this really grand staircase. Unfortunately, that's going to have to change. I'll explain to you in a bit why exactly we need to get rid of these stairs. But for now, you can see there's these two features on either side that we've put in. It's like a decorative feature. We're thinking of adding lights and just making it an accent to the staircase. But if you come closer, you may notice that one side is wider than the other, and we're really trying to create symmetry in this space. So we have to undo that and then completely redo it so that either side of the stairs does feel very symmetrical, because it's going to be something that you see as soon as you walk in, and it will be very, very distracting if it's not symmetrical. So over here we have a small room that is designated to be an office. So we're going to keep this pretty simple, but there's a feature here that we really wanted to play around with and use when it comes to how the house is going to appear from the exterior. So it has this large window that is right at a corner. So we're going to play around with the fabrication of the frames and the glass to just make something that looks so seamless and so modern from the outside. So that is one of the main features we're going to play around with in here. In terms of decoration, that will come at a different phase, so I'll be able to talk to you about that. So I think we can head back to the foyer, where I can talk to you a bit more about our plans for this staircase. Now, we're going to do away with the staircase, but you may notice that over here on the side, it has those lights, like those traditional track lights. We want to really, really amp up. Like, you guys can feel how grand this place feels, and we want everything that we do to really play that up and reflect that. So we don't want to do those traditional track lights. We want to completely get rid of those and do something very innovative. So we're thinking of doing recessed lights underneath each step. That is insane. I haven't seen that done on any of our other projects, but I can imagine that this would be the perfect space to do that, because you can see this entryway really wants to make a statement. Now, another thing that we had to consider is the age of our clients. Now, our clients are a bit elderly, so we were thinking over here, we could add a bit of a niche into the wall that's going to be about 200 centimeters recess, just enough room to have a handrail, but it will be seamless because it will be inside the wall, and there's also going to be a light, and it's good to add that extra support. As I said, the clients are a bit elderly, so it does not hurt to have handrails on either side to just accommodate them. Now I think from here we can head from the foyer and walk right into the living room. Now, between each of these sections, we have like 3 steps, which we will be redoing. It's just that we're not going to do that right now because people are still using them to go up and down. You can see all around me, we're working on the fabrication of the windows, so there's no point in fixing that now and then having it ruined. So this is the living room. It is grand, but it is not even. Now, when I talk about symmetry, we want to create symmetry all the way from the entrance to this end. Now, if you were to stand at the foyer and look over at this side, the windows are very, very uneven. So what we want to do is completely change that and adjust them accordingly. One side is too far in and the other one is too far out. So we want to create something that when you're standing there, it's very symmetrical to look at. And I think this is the perfect vantage point. So you can see what I was talking about with the stairs. Now, if you come to the center of this living room and look that way, you can see a very obvious problem. The staircase to my left is too far in, and then the one to my right is too far out. Not symmetrical, not beautiful. So we have to get rid of those and completely redo them so that they're even and they create harmony. Symmetry is more important than most people assume. So that is something that we absolutely have to do now. For the living room, we want to create a TV wall area. We want to create more than enough room to have all the furniture, and these lovely big windows, we're leaving them like that because exterior will look beautiful, very modern with the huge glass panels that we're going to put there, but also light and ventilation. I always say that, very, very important. And then from the living room, we have more steps that lead into the dining room. Now, this is a very well-spaced dining room. You can see that we have a lot of room. We don't really have to be kind of nervous or scared about, oh, will things fit here? It's a good space. So all we want to do is, first of all, change the stairs. They have to match the others. But also, we want to designate an area for a sink. We might play on this wall with a broken mirror design just to create that expansion of space. It has this small area that's kind of an extension right here, so we might also play around with this to just make it feel more seamless in between these 2 spaces. And then this is a very open plan house, by the way. From the dining room, you can go straight into the kitchen. Now, one of the things that we're concerned about when it comes to this space is it's very open plan, so it means anyone in the dining room or the living room can see straight into the kitchen. So we have to get very creative in how we're going to kind of create barriers that are not solid, so partition. So maybe somewhere here we might have like a one-way mirror where on one side it looks like a mirror, but at the other you can clearly see, or maybe just have some sort of storage that is functional. So the way we are planning out this kitchen, first of all, this will be moved. We want to move this to the other side, so it's not like just taking unnecessary space. So it's going to be shifted to the other side, and we will cover that up with like a wall hanging or something. So that will leave this entire space for us to maybe have our microwave or fridge. So this wall will be designated for all those utilities. And on this end, we are going to now have the cooking station. That way there's a bit more privacy, because when you're standing here, once we have that partition there, no one can really see into the kitchen. So I'm thinking this would be the best area to have that. And then we could have our sink, and you can see in the middle there's a lot of space where we could play around and maybe have an island. I always say, if you have space for an island in your kitchen, do it, because it is so multifunctional. Like, you could really use it for so many things. And I always say the kitchen is like a community space where you want to help each other and work together with your family. So it's very important to create those spaces where you could all work together. Now, we always have to have a pantry. So we have a section over here that could easily be made into a pantry so that everything that is needed in the kitchen has a place to go. Now after the kitchen, we have another small area out here. So this will be like an extension of the kitchen. You can think of this as like an outdoor seating area right outside your kitchen. You know, maybe if you're having a gathering, there's some people in the kitchen cooking and some people want to be outside for a moment. This would be a perfect place for that. But you're looking out into this beautiful view, and also it does not hurt that it adds extra light and extra ventilation. I know the kitchen has that massive window, but there's nothing like too much ventilation in a kitchen, because you never want fumes to gather up in your kitchen and kind of chase you away from that room. But then we have this other small area right next to it, where this was initially intended to be a bathroom, but there is a basement to this house. So what we are thinking of doing is problem solving an issue that we were able to identify when we first came here. Now, due to the basement, there's no like access point from the inside of the house. You have to really walk outside and then walk around the entire house, and it just seemed like bad design, and we thought, what's the best way to do that? So this area, we're going to transform it, because right below me is the basement, so we're able to create a stairway here that's going to lead right down to the basement and make it so much easier for anyone in the house to access the basement. So that's what we're planning to do with this space. But of course, every space has to look beautiful, so even if it's going to just have a stairway, we're going to beautify this space and also find a way for it to also be functional. Now, right next to this room, we also have the garage, where we did have to do a lot of structural adjustments to just make sure everything was smooth and make sure everything was even so that it served the function very well. But of course, we had to beautify it too. So we added in these pillars, this molding actually right here to the pillars that hold up the structure, just because we have to consider how things are going to look from the outside. So you can see this design follows through to the entryway, so it's just perfect. And now that we've made sure everything is straight, I think this will now be a good space to serve its function. I know it's just the garage, but yeah, you have to make sure that everything is even in every aspect that you touch. So I think from here we can head on upstairs and take a look at some of the work we've done there and what we're planning to do. So as you're heading up the stairs, you can see that we have this space in the middle that is blank right now. So we have this huge opening here. We've actually played around with this space a number of times. There's some footage that you'll see of what this looked like. So this is the master bedroom. I don't think I have to really say that, because I love how you can always tell when you walked into the master bedroom, because it's usually so spacious and it usually has a unique feature. Now for this room, that feature is these 2 steps. Now that is going to be a lounge area. It's perfect the way it's been partitioned, so we could just make this a nice lounge area, maybe have a TV wall over there, and just really make this space functional. It also has this lovely huge window, ventilation, lighting, absolutely perfect. And then over on this side, you can see we have a lot of space. We're going to play around with cabinetry. We have the window over there. I love how this entire house, like there was so much consideration put into natural light and these huge windows. And I love that we are able to come in here and just play around with the fabrication and just really figure out the best placement for everything. So as much as we have an idea of where we want to put the TV, we still have to go and look at the type of furniture we want to put in the space so we can really figure out the layout. So what size bed do we want in this room? Not we, I mean, the client as well has to be put into consideration, and then really figure out the best placement so we can maximize the functionality of this room. And of course, we're going to have beautiful lighting fixtures, but everything is speculation for now. We have to wait and see just how things will turn out. But one of my favorite spaces when it comes to these modern houses is the walk-in closet. This is the master bedroom. You know they're going to do it up. It's a lot of space and has that lovely big window. I am obsessed with windows. Lighting is very, very vital. So here we have a lot of space to really play around with the cabinetry, the wardrobes, and just designated each space for a particular function. But you can tell there's something unique about this walk-in. It's the shape of it. It's not traditional. It's not just like a rectangle. It has a bit of a curve to it. And you know, if you've seen any of the other projects, that does not scare us. Because we customize everything, we're able to actually create things that fit a room very, very brilliantly. So we're going to play around with this curve and make sure that there is no space that is going to be wasted. So this entire area is going to have cabinetry. We might even designate a small area where a client could get ready. You know how we like to add in a vanity, but you know, those are the things that we like to discuss with our clients and really figure out what is important to them in which spaces. So we'll remain to see that. And then as you keep going, we have the master bathroom. This is another room we really like to play up. So you can see, you can kind of tell from the piping, there's a lot of work that has already been done in terms of plumbing. So you can kind of tell where we want to place certain things. So over here, we're going to have the toilet bowl. And then on this side, we can have the jacuzzi and the shower. And then over here, I think you can tell from those two that this is definitely going to be a double sink. I always say, like, if you want to modernize your house, there's no reason to just have one sink. Two is just convenient and it just makes sense. So that's what we're going to do here. And of course, we're going to have a lovely mirror. So this place will be fully decked out and beautified. And it also has another big window, ventilation, natural light. I'll keep saying that because it's very, very important. And it's one of those things that is easily overlooked. So I think from here we can just take a tour of the rest of the house and look at maybe some of the hallways and a couple of the other rooms. Unfortunately, the stairs leading up to the attic are very, very dark at the moment, so I couldn't film that, but I will be showing you that in a later video, so stay tuned. But now we're in one of the rooms that is up here. I think you can tell we've come to the top of the house. You can tell from the roofing and just the structure of all the rooms. They're very unique. Each room up here has a very unique shape, and you know, that is to be expected because it's the top of the house, so you really have to consider a lot of things when designing any spaces that will be here. But the thing that I really love, you know, is the fact that it wasn't completely closed off. They knew what they were doing, so they left openings that they knew would create ample natural lighting up here. So this is actually going to be a bedroom. I think you can tell from this huge piece down here that our fabricators really are going to have a challenge when it comes to this house, because just creating all these windows have very unique shapes. So when it comes to fabrication, if you're not able to really be on site and build these things, it would really cause a huge issue. So this is going to be a room, which is exciting, has another very beautiful view. And then we can head out into this hallway. I like how everything has been placed. They made sure to create a hallway so that they have different sides of the house serving different functions. But you can also see we've chosen to add in these openings, which encourages natural light into the hallway, because we couldn't just rely on the natural light that will come from that end, because this whole area would turn out so dark. So just by simply adding in this feature, this small openings, it encourages so much natural light to come from the other side of the house. Now, as you walk to the end, we can start from my left. So over here, It was another very big open room. That was not that. This entire section we just built in because this area felt much too big. It's meant to be the gym and it's still going to be the gym, but we felt like there was just way too much space that we couldn't really fill with the things they would need. So we thought, hey, why don't we create more of an experience up here? So over here, the thing we're building is going to be like a steam room or like a sauna. So that means like we're maximizing the functionality and also giving our client more options of what they're able to do in their own home. And you can see even with that, we still have so much room for any exercise like equipment that you might want. Even if you want several treadmills, or if you want several areas where you can lift weights, you still have enough space to do that. You have a wall where you can have a TV. This is a very big space. So over here, I'm thinking this could be like the weight station. I don't know if that's what you you call it. I don't work out much, but you could have the benches here where you have all your dumbbells or any sorts of weights. So it's a very easy room to kind of arrange. It has enough nooks and crannies where it could be like, okay, that section will be for this type of workout, that section will be for this type of workout, and then at the end of it all, you have your sauna or your steamer, which is just another next level addition that we've been able to do in this house. Now, you might be wondering, what about that section? What's going on over here? So this is a section that has steps. It's very similar to this, the other one that we saw in the other bedroom, but over here it's a bit smaller. So we're thinking that this could be a good place to have a very small office. We could make it very private, which we will be doing, but this could also be a very small office for anyone who might want some private time when no one's up here. It will be a very easy place to come and get lost and really just focus on the work you're doing. So I think we can go to the other side. Right across the hallway on this other side is yet another very big space. This will be a family room. So we're thinking something more private, something more hidden away. This would be a good place to have a family room. We could have a small section where you could have a kitchenette, because it will be really annoying having this family room where you enjoy coming, but every time you want to drink or anything like that, you have to go all the way downstairs. So having a small kitchenette makes a lot of sense here. And then there's a way we could divide up the space again to just create more functionality for the space, just have different seating areas, maybe different types of seats, depending on maybe your family's up here, they're watching TV, but maybe you want to be on your phone, but you just want to be in the same vicinity. So maybe we could have a seat here where someone could just sit and be doing their own thing and still feel like they're part of the family. But we also have this very unique, again, very unique section. So you can say it has this support beam here. It's a beam, no, it's a pillar. This support pillar here. So what we're thinking of doing with this area is making it like a very private meeting area. So what we want to do is on one side have like shelving that is like a partition, so it's not a solid wall, it doesn't completely close off this room, but it just makes it a bit more private, and then have the entrance on the other side, but also to just make it feel more cozy. We want to mold this and maybe include a small fireplace here, have like 3 to 4 seats here where people could come in to have a private conversation while still having a beautiful view to look out at. So welcome to the basement, guys. This is one of the most neglected areas in this house, and I had to go quite through the journey to actually get to the basement, and I think that's one of the reasons it wasn't really being looked after, because honestly you have to really walk around the entire house to get here. And that's why I was telling you upstairs that we're going to create steps that will actually end up somewhere here in the hallway. So the idea of this is that once we've done the complete transformation of the landscape, when the client maybe has guests or is having a small party, she wouldn't necessarily want to have the guests upstairs in the upstairs kitchen. So it would be absolutely amazing to have a designated area for those small gatherings or those small parties. So guys, you can tell that this property has quite a number of pillars all around it, and you know how we like to play around with molding just to enhance the exterior of the house, kind of match what we're doing on the inside. So here I'm standing with the person who's in charge of the molding, so kindly introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay, I'm Upon Lestakov, head molder from Fine Urban Interiors.
Okay, so I have a number of questions for you. First of all, there's a lot of pillars. How long would you say it has taken you to complete all the pillars in this particular project?
Okay, kusema kweli tuko na timu kubwa yenye anajua kazi vizuri. So kazi ni ngumu kwa hakika, lakini tuna vile tumesema hapo awali tuko na mafundi wazuri. So for example, pila moja tunaweza tuchukua kama 2 days juu we are a big team.
Yeah, because nimeona there's some pillars up front, very tall, and I was thinking that would be quite a labor of work, just getting up there and making sure everything is straight. And another thing I have to ask, I've seen a couple of the other projects that you've worked on. I've seen that there's different designs in every project. They're not all the same. So how do you go about selecting a design like this one? How do you know this one is the perfect one for this particular project?
Okay, kwa kuchagua design, kuna designs mingi sana yenye inaweza wekwa, lakini hatuweki tu tunaweka, but tunaketi chini na our designer, tuna decide design gani na match nyumba ama ni match project, kutoka kwa mlango hadi kwa dirisha.
So this is the manifold?
Yes, this is the manifold.
I thought it was going to be much bigger. It sounded like something that's so complicated. But I want you to just explain to me, what's the purpose of this? Because I don't think I've come across this in any other site. So why do we need this here?
Okay, this is a simple manifold of which you have blue for cold water, red for hot water.
Okay.
This is where we are going to assemble all the water points for this house, whereby you can control the water in a certain room using this point, this point, this point, and this point, but obvious different rooms. Arranged like that. So
it means the reason I've not seen this on any other project is this is new. This is a new type of technology that we're using.
Yes, yes.
So what made you guys feel like that would suit this house?
Because this house has many rooms, and you can't put each one of these in every room. It will not look beautiful. So we are going to assemble them in one point where they will be all of them, so they can have their own room. Yes, a controlled room.
And I can see there's a lot of, how do I know which one is connected to which room? Like, because there's the red, there's the blue, it's a bit confusing.
Okay, for these ones, you have the hot water down, and then the cold water up. So, in every room, we have a shower, a basin, and a toilet. Whereby in a basin, we have hot water. So that hot water in that room will be controlled by this point, only this point.
So each one is designated to one room?
Yes.